Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans and for the fans, and I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, joined today by my brethren from Run the Ropes. BJ, what is going on? I love the handle, too, that you put there.
Oh, thanks. Just, accessible. Gotta get that follow how you can. But how you doing, man?
I'm good. We're hanging in there, man. We are here to talk about your preview and predictions for Money in the Bank. I see a few people in the live chat. If you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, wherever it may be, do me a favor, guys. Come on in. Leave a like on the YouTube video. It helps us out greatly. What is going on, everybody? I see a lot of yer and hey. We're going to do the intro, and then we're going to try to get into some of these preview and predictions. And I'm sure BJ is going to have lots and lots of layers for you guys to talk about with this. So enjoy, sit back, and hang on for the ride.
Everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson. Yes, everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
All right, everybody. All right. We've talked about this enough. We've got the background up. You know what we're talking about first. We got to talk some Impact Wrestling, Slammiversary, and I kind of want to get into a lot of overall thoughts for that. And I got to thank everybody who's in here. Big shout out to Malik Murray. Malik Murray kept me on my toes. It was supposed to start at 12. 100% my fault. Getting a garage door installed. So if you hear some noise in the background on my end, that's what it is. So thank you, Malik. Jeff Samuel also in the chat. Thank you, good sir. Appreciate you guys. Ace, you're holding down the chat. One of the best mods in the business. Thank you, sir. The Will Jacks effect. What's going on, WJE? I appreciate you, brother. Chris Matthews in the house. What is going on? Hopefully you guys are in here and enjoying the stuff. Malik also in the house. Narcolepsy Boy 94 from TikTok fame. Make sure you show him some love as well. I'm in here with BJ. We're talking Money in the Bank predictions of Slammiversary. We're going to start off with the Slammiversary half. Connor, I see you as well. Thank you. Hello. Guys, make sure you hit that like button for us. But BJ, what's going on, man? How are you feeling right now about Impact Wrestling as a whole in general?
Well, so I enjoy Impact a lot. I think that they've been consistently growing. I know it sounds weird. I don't want to use the term baby steps, but it's so each little thing that happens in the wrestling world helps them grow just a little bit stronger. And that's how I feel about them right now, is that they're just still growing, getting better. They've got people on their roster now that they've helped build to be even bigger stars than what they were, all through their own accord, which is what a good, company should be doing anyways. But it was probably 5 years ago we looked at Impact and thought, ooh, I don't know. We've had a lot of ups and downs, but they've, for the last 2 years, maybe even 3 at this point, they've just been getting more and more and more. And so I've been watching them more often. They've been catching my attention more often.
I will say this, to be fair as well. When you look at Impact Wrestling, there's kind of this, you said it perfectly. I can remember the moment when I stopped wanting to watch Impact. It was the build up to a Bound for Glory that was happening in Japan for me. And I was like, where are all the guys that you just had? Where's Aries? Where's James Storm? What's going on right now? And I know some of them were on the card. I can't remember who was gone, but I was like, this sucks. And I just looked and it was kind of washed people. And I just remember going through that, and I hated it for a long time. And I was like, I'm not watching that. I'm done with this. I'm through. I can't deal. But eventually I came back, and guess what? It was Slammiversary. The show was Bobby Lashley and Alberto Del Dipshit, El Patron, whatever his name is right now. And he better not be doing any crazy shit. Del Rio was on the card against Lashley, and I thought it was a hell of a main event and a hell of a show. And I really, really enjoyed it. And then it brought me back in. So I still think that you summarized it perfectly. There's this stigma of, there's the fans who love Impact and maybe a little too much. And then you also have the other half, though, who won't give it a shot. Like my co-host Derek on Dynamite. Derek will not give Impact a shot. He's just like, oh, this show sucks. And he doesn't watch it, though.
No,
He's going based on
it's changed. It's changed. You know, when AJ like quote unquote walked out or whatever, like his deal was done. But like I was like, this was your sting. Like if he's gone, the company's gone. And so like I stepped away for a while. I started like a little bit more, you know, back on things when Aries was back and lost the belt to Penta and stuff like that. Like I started keeping up with it, but it wasn't like I was consistently watching. But now I'm to the point where like I might not watch it live. I'm trying to get to that point. Like it's drawing me to that point where on like Thursdays I want to be there to watch it, but I am consistently like keeping up and watching the, you know, where I've got it DVR'd and stuff like that. So like it's growing. It's growing on me, and the product is good. They just had an Iron Man match that like went. Oh, that was
at the beginning of the show, and it led into the
like the last 10 minutes was the beginning of the show, and it was so good. So like,
say what you want about TJP and his like personal stuff sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, okay. But I think we're old enough, I think, to put that to the side. And when we hear this, we're just like, dude, an amazing Iron Man match. And I like it, man. I like it. Azan White has joined us, said, hey, everyone. Yes, we are added early today. See, I wake up. I'm not some zombie who's just around at night podcasting. I'm a normal dude. Let's see what Connor had to say here. Connor said, I feel like Impact is that one promotion that, given its history, people won't give it a chance. But the product these past few years have been amazing, and they kill it with each pay-per-view. You're right, Connor, but it's hard to escape your past. And that's a life lesson, I think, for everybody who's in this chat. And I'm going to take care of that beeping noise here in 1 second, the next time I can get BJ to go on a rant, because my detector battery decided to be weird. Weird day for me today. Impact Wrestling in 2014-2015 was the worst year in Impact, best year 2018-2019. I think we could agree with that. We can agree with that. BJ, I'm going to kick it over to you for this one. Is there a show that you're more so, or I should say a show, a match on this card that you're like, this is the match for me right here?
So looking at the thing at the show itself, obviously Kenny versus Sami, but the storytelling on that is good. But if you get away from, you know, that, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. The Ultimate X match is back. All the people in that match are incredible. I don't know if there's a way to have Josh Alexander lose unless it's in an Ultimate X match or something like that, because he has been on a roll. He's been unstoppable. I'm surprised by Moose versus Sabin for a Slammiversary card, given how much they pushed Moose. So I'm thinking that one might be a little bit of a sleeper in the fact that like we might get a lot more out of that than what we expect. So yeah.
Moose. Honestly, I said so. I will go do a podcast with the Insiders. Make sure you guys check them out every week. The Insiders, I was just telling them that I feel like this is a test for Moose. This is going to be Moose. Like, can you be in the main event scene? He's got the body. I think he's got his mind right, and he signed back up with Impact. So he's done everything to where they can push him to the highest level. I think it's going to be a good thing for him. So this is the test, I feel. And Sabin's the perfect guy to do it because he's been the world champ. He's been to the dance. Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to here. And I guess I'll get this from you real quick, too, before we get into it. Quick thoughts on the AEW relationship. Some people hate it and some people love it. Like, I bask in the glory. And I'm just like, AEW's so sweet and Impact Wrestling is benefiting from this.
Yes.
What do you think?
Now, I'm the same way. I feel that same way, but I do feel something has to happen in order to help Impact out even more. Like, we've got the benefit of having the god of pro wrestling, Kenny Omega, come in and win your belt and be showing it on different channels and have enough talk that's going on to the fact that where when Don Callis was on, an AEW Dynamite, they were chanting, "You got fired." So they're starting to follow the stories on Impact, which is great. But I think there's a little element that Impact has to have in order to fully benefit from this relationship. And I think if we don't see both things tonight, I think one of these things will happen, but I'll get into it when we go into predictions.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it. We're not going to waste any time. July 17th.
I got to interrupt you. I got to interrupt you right before that. When you talk about this show, I need to ask you the question: Do you enjoy like fish, like for like meals, like?
Yeah, occasionally.
I'm the same way, and I've never had this fish, but I think a big theme for me has to do with a fish with Slammiversary, and that is red herring.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Shark Boy a little bit.
So,
that's the fishing line.
So yeah, whenever we get to it, I'll show you. But there's going to be a few times where that specific fish is going to show up here. So
okay, this is going to be interesting. So it's happening July 17th. Happy birthday to the intern. Got to show him some love for that. 8 p.m. is the start time. It's going to be in Skyway Studios, Nashville, Tennessee. Fans are back for this. Be excited. Impact has greatly missed their fans. It's weird to hear the crowd noise, and then you got someone running through an empty crowd on Impact. It's available on traditional pay-per-view and FITE. I would recommend going the FITE route for this show. And I guess we'll start from the bottom of the card here. And I'm going to pull up some of my graphics. And a big shout out to Michael. Mike, I'm going to pull up your comment here because I don't want to mess up your name. Michael Brandamarty. If I said that wrong, please let me know. It only seems to benefit Gallows and Anderson, the Impact relationship with AEW. I don't agree.
Not especially if some things get set in motion. So,
and I'm sure BJ's going to let you know. Actually, you know what? I almost went to Morrissey and Edwards. That's not going to be the first match. I want to talk about the match that was added last minute last night, which is Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood versus Matt Cardona and a mystery partner. Some would say maybe they're hot, maybe they're messy, maybe they're a hot mess. I don't know, but we have this matchup set. Last night, Tennille Dashwood gave Matt Cardona a low blow. So let's get into awkwardness here. Tennille Dashwood used to date Matt Cardona in the WWE, Emma and Zack Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're at this point, but she's teaming with one of my favorites in Impact, the most professional, Brian Myers. And hopefully Sam Bill will be out there too. Shut up, Sam. No one asked you. His understudy. So, BJ, first question is, who is Cardona's mystery partner? Is the hot mess just somewhere where we're going with this? And you're like, dude, this is to set you up. This is not really what's going to happen?
That's exactly it. That's the first red herring. So Chelsea Green showed up at Ring of Honor, and I don't know if she signed to a deal, but she definitely said in 30 days she's going to be wrestling for them. Once her cast is off and she's able to go, and she wants the Ring of Honor Women's title. Now, could that mean that they would work with both Impact and stuff? Very well, but I don't think they've done too much of that yet. EC3 kind of did, but he was finishing up one place as he was heading to the other. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Now, everyone thinks, especially when you brought up that was his, that Tennille was his ex, that, oh, it's going to be Chelsea Green because that's his girlfriend, fiance, and Brian Myers, and they're all going to. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's leading you up to believe that. I think we're going to get the Impact debut of Ruby Soho.
I do think Ruby Soho is showing up, but it's just like, where do you do it? Where is the right place, right time?
I think they do it right at the beginning for a shock, and then it makes you speculate even more when it comes to the Knockouts Championship later in the night.
Interesting, because my whole predictions and mindset for that has been different. Azan, I saw that Azan put both ex-lovers of Matt on one side. You leave Brian Myers alone, damn it. All right? I'm not going to let you talk bad about my guy here. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. I guess let's get into the next match here. Let's talk about W. Morrissey, the former Big Cass, taking on Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards is actually coming back from an injury. He had some type of surgery done. I'm not going to speculate on what. And then we have W. Morrissey. He's been unstoppable. He has been a force to reckon with in Impact Wrestling. I love the renewed push for him. He seems to be cut. He's in the best shape of his life, it looks like right now. I mean, you made your prediction on that. I'm sorry, did we predict the tag match? Who did you predict to win that? I'm sorry.
I predict Matt Cardona's team, whoever the mystery person is, but I believe the mystery person will be Ruby. Double
check on that. Same. For this one, I'll take W. Morrissey. I'll go first on that one. W. Morrissey all the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He went through a lot. And whether or not either side of those kinds of things and actions being condoned or whatever, like that, that's for another thing. I just know that he's experienced a lot in a short amount of time with his release and everything. He's had some pretty downs, but he's been getting better. And I heard him on Busted Open last week, and he sounds like he's in a good place. So I hope things keep going well for him, and I think he gets a W here because they are showing him like he is a monster.
Oh, he is a monster. Believe that. I'm happy for him, though. I know he was a big basketball guy, and you know what? I always want to hear like wrestlers being on the right track, and I think that's something we should try to normalize a little bit in wrestling. Have these guys being healthy and happy. That's what we want. Like, I want these guys to be healthy. Your health comes before you doing a wrestling match, and I know that you're chasing the dollar, but health first. So kudos to Big Cass, William Morrissey, W. Morrissey, whatever you'd like to be called. Kudos to you, man, for your health and everything else right now. BJ, what do you think here? What do we go into? What's the next match you want to talk about? I'll let you pick one.
I think Moose and Sabin.
Well, there it is. We were talking about it earlier. This is what I feel will be like a tutelage match here for Chris Sabin and Moose. Very, very different when it comes to this. What do you think on this one?
Well, like I said, I think it's going to be a sleeper because I think it's going to be a longer match than what we're expecting maybe between these two. But I think Moose is pretty much unstoppable. He did not beat Kenny, but it was not at any fault of his own. And so I can't see that momentum slowing down for him. I wanted Moose to beat Kenny. I still want Moose to beat Kenny. If I had to choose someone from Impact to dethrone Kenny Omega, it's Moose. But
he looked great against him in that 6-man tag where they did like one. I think it was Under Siege or something. Moose was a star that night. I was like, yo, Moose is the guy.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Like I've not been against Moose by any means, but I've slowly watched him get better and better. And then it's just like we hit that match, and it was like there was no like small step of better. He next level, and he's just been there ever since. So like I think he beat Sabin. And honestly, at this point, because we've already seen the opportunity, I don't know if he dethrones Kenny, but I think he dethrones the guy who does dethrone Kenny.
Okay. That's another herring, possibly?
Potentially. Also, Moose.
Moose. Let's go into the comment section here. I see we got a couple. I got a question. Who is the Impact 6 in 2021? We'll save that for the end, and we'll try to get into that maybe a little bit for you, Malik. I want to see Enzo and W. Morrissey be a tag team again, damn it. I think if you wanted to do that surprise, have Enzo come out, but I think you'd have Davey Richards debut first. So you could have a double. Try to mess around with that.
I could see that, but now here's my question. What we know with Davey Richards right now, he's MLW. Do they? I know MLW lets people go, but does Impact work with anyone with MLW? That's what we'll have to see. This door might be open, wide open. Yeah.
I read something last night that was kind of weird between not WWE and AEW, but some other companies that were like, listen, we're cool with this if you're cool with this. And it was like, hey, if everybody wins, this is a game of survival right now in that world. And BJ, A said Moose, he's got Moose taking the W here. BJ, you look like RSP to us on. I don't know if that's a compliment or what he means.
I don't know either.
We'll take that. RSP's a good wrestler. He was just on AEW Dark, so we'll show some love.
Okay.
I can see Moose going for the Impact X division. I think he's above that now, Malik. I think they're starting to position people in higher positions. And TJP's in MLW. That is true.
Okay. So yeah, I would love to see the Wolves. That might be one of the only ways I'm okay with seeing Enzo and Cass back together. Like I'm okay. I'm okay with them separately now. More so one than the other, but together I just feel like for both of them you kind of put them in a box. I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong, it definitely works, but at this point, do they need to be back in that box right now, or can we hit that in like 5 years when they need the nostalgia back if they haven't grown in the way that they need to? So
Good points. Right here, let's get to some tag team action, which is always enjoyable. We have the team of FITE and Flava taking on Havok and Rosemary going into this one. This should be interesting. This is one of the matches where I could go either way on this one, but since I'm the host, I get to defer. So I'm going to BJ first once again on this one. BJ, what are you thinking for this tag match here that we got for the Knockouts women's tag titles?
Fire and Flava have been a team that, like, I don't want to say that they've slowly grown on me because I liked them initially and then like I kind of plateaued and now I'm back like, okay. Havok and Rosemary, I'm not feeling it with them as a team. This is a straight up match. I think I don't think we get shenanigans when it comes to the match, but I think we get a surprise after the match.
Feed me.
I think Fire and Flava retain, and we get I think they're calling themselves the Inspiration debut. Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee. Yes, making their iconic inspirational debuts to stare down Fire and Flava. And again, shock number 2. And it's, well, who is Deanna Perazzo going to face? As I think you do that with each one of these matches. So
I like it. You're a big teaser. I'm going with Fire and Flava to retain here in this match. I think that there's still more of a grind. I don't think you solidified Havok and Rosemary enough for them to win the titles here. To me, Rosemary's a veteran at this point in the ring for Impact. She's like one of the mainstays, so she's good to go. Havok also, I think, could be in that role because she had a tryout with WWE years ago. Everybody knows the drama around that. If you don't, Google it. I don't want to bring up all negative stuff on the show for people, but I do think that time has done her well, and she's been in Impact for a long time, and she's with Sami now. A lot of stuff just fits into place. They don't need to go anywhere at this point. Fire and Flava just won the belts back. They're 2-time champs already. Let's see what they do here. Quite interesting. And I wonder if the Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering stuff plays out a bit too. They were teasing breaking up, but now they're best buds again. I don't know. You've also got Kimberly and Susan. I love that pairing. I love it. Love it. Really good stuff. Let's see here. A said Fire and Flava to retain the championship for him. Ed Fries on the Twitch. What's going on, Ed? Thank you so much for joining us. And if you guys also want to subscribe, you guys can do that by going to EPW Show on Twitch. Type us in. We do wrestling video game streams and other things. But right now we've got Sorry I've Been Lurking. I love Impact, but it's 5th out of the 5 shows I can't watch in a given week that I can watch a week. I don't blame you, bro. There is a lot.
Oh,
Listen,
there's a lot of wrestling.
Making the name Everything Pro Wrestling, big mistake back in 2016. But I didn't know we were going to get another company and the world was going to go and change the way it has. But Ace said, don't count them out. I'm not. I would never count them out. Let's continue on here with the card, and let's stick with the tag team action. BJ, this 4-way is going to be insane, I think.
Absolutely. It feels thrown together and doesn't at the same time. Like each team is an established team through Impact, but like it just like seemed to, in like one episode, just boom, here we are, fatal 4-way. And so I'm very confused at the direction here. I don't know if Violent by Design retain, but I can't see the Good Brothers getting back the belts right now. So I think I'm going to have to go with Rich Swann and Willie Mack.
Man, I don't know. The Good Brothers have been on like a path of, I don't know what they're doing with them. They're kind of just floating. You know what I mean? They're not really doing anything in either company. And I don't know if that's a good thing for them or not. And I think they're trying to make a long-term play. If people want to know my honest opinion, I think they're trying to get back in the good graces of Tony Khan. They made a bad boo-boo. I'm going to just pull it up so you can see their face. They made a bad boo-boo when they said, oh, no, we're going to sign those 5-year WWE contracts. I think Tony took that as disrespect a little bit. He was like, you know what? We're moving forward with this. I cannot do this. We also have TJP and Fallah Bahh. I just don't see it right now. It's now at the time. Swann is a former world champion with Willie Mack, but I think the climb is too much, man. I think Rhino and Big Joe Doring are going to hold it down for the team on this night because they do utilize the Freebird rule, and I pray Cody Deaner does not get beat down. We can't have a man Cody Deaner getting smacked up. That's just how I feel about it. But that poor SOB. I feel like he's going to be the one to get kicked out of the group, and I like Cody Deaner, actually. Yeah. Malik Murray says he's thinking Swann and Mack win the championships because I like them. That's a good enough reason for me. That's why we're here talking wrestling. VBD retain their Impact World Tag Team titles. So we got one agreement with you and one in agreement with me.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
I have a random question to throw out here before we get to like the final title matches. Someone that's left off this card that I am surprised that they don't have something.
Who would that
And that's the key word, Jake something.
He has been doing stuff with Myers a little bit. I feel like they slotted him in there so Cardona could come in. That Cardona match is thrown on here for a reason, and it's just to get someone in as a surprise.
Oh, yeah. But I just feel like he's been doing some solid work for them, and I'm surprised that at their biggest show, they didn't have room.
Yeah, I think that's why he got a match on this Impact show. And you know what else I was thinking when we were talking about Cody Deaner getting taken out the group? I think Macklin could be the one to replace him.
Ooh.
He's been doing a really, really good job coming over there. He dates Deanna Perazzo. I don't know. To me, it's a good fit. I don't want to see that happen, but I would hate to see someone lose their spot. I can see Eric Young win the X Division Championship and VBD winning all the titles in Impact. Who knows? I think Eric Young's still hurt. By the way, beast that he walks out there every week with like a torn ACL, I believe is what the injury is. Crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy, BJ.
Oh, yeah.
X Division Ultimate X match. If you guys have never seen an Ultimate X match, you are in for a treat. If you've ever played the old Impact games, it was the best match on that video game. That was like the only match I ever wanted to play. I'm like, dude, Ultimate X right now. Let's do this. Very interesting. We have Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, the champion Josh Alexander, Chris Bay, Rohit, and Petey Williams, the man who probably cries every time he sees a Destroyer done or kicked out of or used as a transition move. I feel for him. What are you thinking on this one, BJ?
So in this one, as I was saying earlier, Josh Alexander's been amazing as X Division champion. And if he does not win here, like this is one of the only matches I could see him losing the belt in. If he's one-on-one versus someone, I don't see it. So I think maybe we have the Ultimate X match so that we do get someone shockingly winning. But if we do, I think Josh Alexander moves up past the X Division towards the main event picture. I don't know 100% if it's time for that, but with his work in the ring, there's no denying it. So if he retains, I don't know when he's going to lose that belt. But this would be the time to do it because he doesn't have to lose it by being pinned or tapped out.
I think they're going to do it. I think they pulled the trigger. And I looked at everybody. All these guys have had recent title reigns. And I think the main person I feel for in all of this is Trey Miguel. He seems like he came back to Impact, and he really hasn't done much. And I don't know if he's just on a per deal. Is he looking at his friends in MSK and NXT like, damn, man, I could have been there. What am I doing? You know? It depends on how he feels or why he's doing it. His personal motivations.
It's weird that you say that because he is my pick. If they do dethrone Josh Alexander tonight, it's him picking up the X Division title.
Really interesting. Yeah. I'm gonna take Chris Bay. I think it's gonna be a great night, and every Thursday you can catch him on Impact. The man writes money, and I do think when I look at this, BJ, I'm gonna pull this graphic back up so people can see this. I see someone who was a legend in the division. Petey Williams, Rohit, a solid addition. Someone who at first I didn't know if I was going to like him, and he's turned me into a fan. But then when I look at these other four, I see main eventers, future Impact Wrestling World Champions: Chris Bay, Josh Alexander, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel. If you wanted to, you could put those guys and elevate them. I think you elevate Josh Alexander now, though. I think it's time. He's proven it. That the Iron Man match sold me.
Yeah,
he held it down.
I will go ahead and tell you I have a wild card here. It's not a red herring thing. It's just a thought that had come to me as I was reading the notes, and Azan right there in the comments saying the same thing that I do. I think his name is Samurai Del Sol.
You got it. That was amazing.
He shows up either after this match or he shows up on Impact following this. I see that's the thing is like with Slammiversary and you want people to watch and you have all these surprises, he would be a great addition to keep people talking, but you could have someone carry over to the next Impact to keep them talking on Thursday too. And so that might be where he shows up.
Yeah, you've got a lot of options too right now to where you want to go. And if you're a big enough name, you could kind of be like, listen, bro, I'm not doing it. I'm only going when I want. Azan is still taking Trey Miguel or Chris Bay. Malik Murray says he thinks Chris Bay is going to win. Ace said Josh Alexander to retain. This one's got people all over the place. Jeff Samuel, what's going on, Jeff? He's going with Josh Alexander for the win. Azan repeating about Kalisto. I like that Josh versus TJP next pay-per-view could be very interesting. Could be. I see Rohit as a future world champion if he gets a character, but I think he find Conrad to me personally can cut a promo. Yeah, he's got the old school feel. I can agree with that. Yeah. Aerostar to return to Impact, maybe. I would love to see Aerostar and Kalisto even as a team if they wanted to.
Did he suffer an injury?
I don't know. I'm a big Lucha Underground fan, so I wouldn't be surprised. I thought maybe if he was going to go over there for the Azteca Underground once that starts up.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I thought the last time I remember seeing him, he did like some crazy dive from like the roof of a building, and I thought it injured him. Maybe I was wrong, but like for some reason that vividly stands out in my mind.
I would listen. Nothing would surprise me this day and age in pro wrestling. I'll have to look into that. Next matchup here, Deanna Perazzo, probably one of the best Impact signed wrestlers right now. I love Deanna Perazzo and her work that she's been doing as champion. This is someone who was signed by the WWE at one point, and they weren't using her. And this is where I have to, you know what? No, I have to come back on the screen for this. Like, and just so BJ doesn't get any heat for this, this is the shit that baffles me with WWE. How did you let someone like this go? How? She would be in main events with Charlotte like this. There ain't no questions. Rachel Ellering, I'll find something for you to do. You're not going anywhere. How, BJ? I just don't get it.
I was gonna say you didn't have to take any heat off of me for that, because I feel absolutely the same way. I don't think she got to shine enough in Ring of Honor, but she definitely is getting that Impact, and it shows that kind of both places slept on her, like in her ability. Like she's great, and so they dropped the ball. But as we'll talk later with WWE stuff, I'm sure I'll have a little bit of a rant there. That's what WWE does now. Like, so
that's what they do.
Don't put them in the game, because they just loss of possession all the time. Anyways, so who's the
victory, BJ?
So
unravel your layers.
Yeah, this is where I was saying you got all these red herrings. So before we get to Slammiversary, they've teased a lot of things. They on Impact, they had Scott D'Amore in this contract signing, and he mentioned about it being a hot mess and about things might get iconic or hardcore country or all of them red herrings. All of them red herrings. We think we're getting Chelsea Green in the first match. Nope, red herring. We think, does that mean she might be in this title match? No, she's not. She's not. I think we finally get more of the door opened, and I think we have Deanna Perazzo versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. If we don't, okay, so I'm saying this tentatively. I've got two paths here. So this would be for the Impact title, right? Britt trying to be a belt collector too. I think that ends in a no contest, but keeps a story. But if we don't want a no contest on our pay-per-view, I think it's Thunder Rosa then.
Wow, that could be interesting. I'm going to put a name that I thought of yesterday. So I'm going to just stick with what I said on the Insider stream yesterday for the predictions. I don't know if Jeff tried to make a bet where I have to shave my eyebrows or my beard off or something crazy, but I said Ruby Soho would be the person I think in this spot, so that way she could deliver in a good match. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put a name in the chat right now, though, that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. And big shout out to Rob, who has also joined us in the chat. Fabi Apache. Okay. That is who she is going to face at Triple Mania for her title. So why not have Fabi come in, take the belt, and then you can make it a title versus title match next month.
All right.
Do the tapings. I'm just putting it out there. There's a lot of red herrings. This is BJ's theme for this show right here.
Yes, is red herrings. Yes.
They got a lot they can do. I'm looking, Jeff Samuel saying maybe Victoria, a.k.a. Tara, shows back up. I feel like she wants to hang him up. Maybe she's got one more match in her.
Yeah.
And he also brought up Tessa Blanchard. I don't know. I still feel like Tessa's kind of like stay away heat.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I don't know if I don't know if wrestling fans and promoters are ready to forgive and forget, because I don't think the fans have. Remember, she's got the AAA match. Yes. Azan says that is a great idea. See, a bunch of people weren't thinking about that. But BJ's really on to something. I did not think of they're going to do all this stuff to throw you off. Do you think Chelsea Green not wrestling in the Ring of Honor women's tournament is going to have any bearings on this?
No. I think she showed up and it made you think other people, and then Impact did all they could to help you think that she still could. But it's just to keep her, like, the spotlight on it. but I think it's all for distraction.
And Jeff Samuel coming with another name. What if it's Serena D?
Yeah. That would work.
Listen, I'm not mad, but we got to move on. We got to keep it going here. We got to talk the main event. It is now a no disqualification match. Oh, shit. What's going to happen? Kenny Omega, the belt collector, is defending one of his 4 championships, apparently, against Sami Callihan. Is the TNA championship a thing? Is that a thing?
I think they've just kind of they unified it, even though it wasn't a recognized championship. So Kenny's just carrying it around for.
I think it's for the visual look. Like he's got 4 belts, even though you have 3, Kenny. But
yeah,
I'll take it. So Sami Callihan has re-signed with Impact many of times, and I feel like he is one of their mainstays. Kenny Omega he's got everything in his corner. He's got Don Callis. Could the Buck show up? Generation Me, some would say. Or Anderson and Gallows. Is Cutler going to be there? Michael Nakazawa. There's a lot of bullshit that comes along with facing Omega.
Oh, yeah.
Sami Callihan's got the Impact roster, though. I think Impact's going to eventually get sick of this guy walking around with their title, and maybe they show up. BJ, I'm throwing it to you, man. And by the last match, I'm taking Deonna to retain the championship some way, somehow.
In that match, like I said, if it ends up being a situation where it's a champion from somewhere else, I say that we just have a no contest. But if it's anyone else, I still take Deonna. Just a really good match.
Yeah, unless it's Fabi Apache. Nah, they're not. I don't think they take the belt off because there's still that Sue Young stuff that's got to play out too.
Yeah.
I think. But back to this match, the world title match.
Okay, so where I've said red herrings all over this show, this is one, but this match has me so thrown off, and this is why I'm going with the red herring thing. So you get Sami Callihan versus Kenny, and you're like, okay, gonna be a good match, but Kenny's belt collector, it's his story. He's going to keep going. I honestly thought it was going to be Moose. And when it wasn't Moose, I'm like, well, I don't think it's going to be Sami. And then they're like, and it's no DQ. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
it just twisted the whole idea.
Listen, and so I'm like,
last week, I'm telling you, I swear Kenny was losing. I'm like, he's hurt. I don't know if he could do this. And then this week, he said he was feeling better. I watch him in those segments with Hangman, and that plays into this too. And he's doing the dancing. He's moving great. And I'm like, he doesn't look like he's hurt now or in pain.
Right. And so I think when they made it no DQ, they wanted people to be like, oh, well, that's Sami's wheelhouse. He has a better chance now. But I think that they've been building you up to say, yeah, Sami has a good chance. It's no DQ, but probably Kenny's going to win. I'm going to say no.
You're saying no to
Kenny retaining. Now, here's where I'm at with the AEW and Impact relationship. AEW getting that attention of, oh, Kenny's going to go all these other places, bringing in Don Callis, the Good Brothers, stuff like that, has helped. It's helped Impact with numbers, for sure. But they need one of their guys to win that title. And I don't mean that Kenny loses it to someone else that's not in Impact, and then the Impact guy wins it and brings it back. I think they need to make it, a big credible thing of this person in Impact beat Kenny Omega. Is Sami Callihan going to do that in a one-on-one regular match? I don't think so. But as you said, with the Impact roster, I think the Impact roster helps Sami win at Slammiversary because this is their biggest show. This is the show. So if not, when do you have Kenny lose it in a way that will be even bigger?
Because if he doesn't lose it here, he might be going to Bound for Glory with this thing.
Exactly. So I think you get that big, even though Sami Callihan is, storyline wise terrible to people, I think you get Impact hoisting him on their shoulders at the end of this show.
I'm going to agree. First, big shout out to Mags and Sick who have joined us in the chat. Jeff Watson also in the chat. Jeff, you've been name dropped several times in this stream, good sir. Welcome, welcome. But I'm going to agree with you, BJ. And we've got several others. We got Ace Against Us saying that Impact Kenny Omega retains with help from his boys. He did get that stem cell treatment. Maybe it's helping him. Conrad, what if Sheeta shows up and challenged Deanna? Oh, good Lord. Could happen. Could happen. Sami is winning. Okay. Don't worry, Jeff. Name drops are all good. Insiders got a lot of name drops because we were talking about stuff yesterday. So I had to give credit where credit was due. And someone says maybe they do a Bound for Glory series for Kenny Omega. They're throwing it out there.
That would be a Josh Alexander win, in my opinion, if they did that.
Yeah, because you need an Iron Man for that because that's similar to the G1. Yeah. I'm going to put something in here that I do think we're going to get people to try to help, but I think the Super Elite's going to try to fight them off. But there's a little bit of a horse that could play a part in this. I think he's pretty pissed off from the interaction from Wednesday.
Now, Go ahead.
What if Hangman Page comes out? They are setting up this big 5-on-5 match, BJ, from Dynamite. And we talked about this. Could this be a setup to have us get let down again by Hangman Page? And this sends him into the worst spiral effect that he's been on to tell the final story of all this. Because everyone's like, who's getting the shot at All Out? It's got to be Hangman, right? Mm-hmm. Or is it Christian? Christian's been undefeated. There's a lot playing into this that you have to think about. There's moving pieces. I know. So far with what's happening. And I love it. When you can do this to me as a wrestling fan, or maybe we watch way too much of this shit. And we're playing ourselves.
So here's what I'll say. If Hangman shows up to help take out the Super Elite, he's got to have some Dark Order members with it to help build that match.
Don't forget Kaz, too. Kaz gets also because he's the Elite.
Yep. So, but what I think, though, is for Sami to win it, if he has assistance, those guys just have to be out to even the playing field again. You know what I mean? Like they can't be out there actually touching Kenny. If someone hits Kenny with an object or distracts a ref, or I mean, it's no DQ, so what would be the point of distracting the ref? But you know what I mean? If somebody gets involved and puts their hands on Kenny, it's got to be another Impact guy. It's got to be someone that Sami doesn't normally associate with, but it's because we want the belt back in Impact. I agree. I like the Hangman idea, but that's to help get rid of the Super Elite. No one lays a hand on Kenny unless they're from Impact.
Okay. All right. I like it. That's going to be your Impact Slammiversary preview predictions for our wrap-up of the show. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be a great show. I will be doing a review live on the channel afterwards, so if you guys haven't, please check that out. And tonight at midnight, I have a podcast dropping with Casey. You'll have the YouTube version and audio version. If you guys like it, type in Everything Pro Wrestling on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you want. There's a little bit different stuff in there. Sometimes you get a little bit of a treat. But with this one, we're reviewing Money in the Bank 2011. Back when I worked with Casey and life was like completely different for me as a young man. And I think it saved my wrestling addiction that I still have to this day. So make sure you guys check that out. And speaking of Money in the Bank, money. We're going to flip on over here to Money in the Bank. And real quick, give a shout out to our sponsors here, Manscaped. If you guys want to use the promo code EPW show, you guys can get your trim on. You want to make sure you're looking right for the ladies this summer. Same thing, ladies, make sure you're looking right for the fellas. You guys want to get that trimmer. It doesn't discriminate no matter what gender you are. Get yourselves the Lawnmower 3.0, and they even have the 4.0 now. And you guys can get yourselves smelling good and feeling right with Manscaped. Use our promo code to save some money. And if you love professional wrestling, Powerslam.tv, you guys can put in our promo code EPW show and get 1 free month of independent wrestling. Oh boy. So make sure you guys type that one in. We have done a lot. We have talked a lot. let's get into these Money in the Bank preview and predictions. Let's start, BJ, with the tag team titles. We'll have fans back in attendance. We've got AJ Styles and Omas versus the Viking Raiders.
Just looking at this match graphic throws me off. But I'm going AJ and Omas. I think they're going to be champs in front of this live crowd and moving forward. I'm probably going to sound a little bit like cynical and stuff when it comes to WWE, but for me this year they have just they've dropped so many balls and so many situations have been ruined. So like I'm still keeping up, but like it's probably my lowest viewership of WWE at this point. But the Viking Raiders, man, when they were War Machine, incredible.
Those were your guys?
Yeah, but on the main roster, I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
It feels very weird. I feel like AJ and Omas are in a good spot right now. Mm-hmm. And I think they're leading to a big SummerSlam match with a tag team on Raw. They're established, but they're doing other things on this night, we'll say. They're a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde. And I think that's where their storyline is going to play out at SummerSlam. I feel like this is beneath AJ too. Is that wrong for me to say? I'm like, dude, you have AJ freaking Styles. And I don't know if maybe he requested this, and it could be. Maybe I'm just being a jerk. But you have AJ Styles, bro.
I think he said somewhere in the last couple of weeks where he's basically done all he's made it to the top. He's been established. He showed that he could do what he wanted to do and be on top. And so now why not help bring up other people? I don't know if Omas is the guy to do that with, but I get a standpoint. He also said that this contract was the last contract he was going to sign. So maybe he's just going through the motions at this point.
Yeah. I'm taking AJ and Omas for the win. You agree? You said right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get that one done. This card is not huge either. Let's talk about this feud.
Oh,
yo, I can't. I with some of this.
I know. That's why I said it's gonna sound bad, and I'm not being a quote unquote WWE hater because I want all shows to do well. But man, I hope that with the news of the rating stuff this past week, and with crowds coming back and some of these surprises that they're hoping works, I hope it really changes the direction of things because this is getting rough. In this match, Rhea versus Charlotte, this Rhea is not the Rhea on NXT. She's just not. And it doesn't work for me at all. I understand the point of this feud. She's trying to one-up Charlotte at her own game, whatever. But I think Charlotte's winning here. There's a big reason, but I'll get to that after you give some insight there as well.
Okay, bro. I have to put these things in like perspective first because I don't want people just to think. And I saw a lot of people put in RK, bro. Definitely agree. And I think Jeff hit the nail on the head when he said that AJ Styles is in teacher mode. Pulling that back up, excellent. And Six at another point, I think too, though. I think this company is beneath AJ in its current state. Kind of true. AJ Styles is doing great things. What's going on, Tokyo? Thank you for joining us, brother. Hopefully you guys all hit that like button, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. We're just talking Money in the Bank here real quick. But when it comes to Charlotte Flair, Derek gets a lot of flack for hating Charlotte Flair. And I know that the Charlotte defenders like her. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just lumping you all together, unfortunately. And there's the Charlotte haters. And I lean more towards the Charlotte haters. I recognize that Charlotte is great. But why? She's always in the main event. We got to pull the reins back a little bit on this with her. And I know why. She's fabulous. She's great in the ring. But I do believe there's a thing called burnout with some people, man. And some people look at it. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte wins. Like, that's just a weird attitude to see people have with this, man. And this match is going to get booed. They've booked it horribly. Fighting with crutches. And why is Rhea like, oh, I'm going to sink to your level? Like, what is this? Is little kid behavior. Like, I feel like a kindergartner wrote this. And they were watching. They're like, this would be cute to do. This would be a cute thing to do with someone in a feud. That's dumb. I don't know. I'm not feeling this. I'm going to just say Rhea retains because I have no idea why. I don't think Charlotte needs number 14 right now. I know she's going to go past her dad eventually.
I think Charlotte gets number 14 here, but there's one big reason why. The return of Becky Lynch. I think she comes back after Charlotte wins. Yeah, you could say, oh, Rhea beat Charlotte, and now she's got Becky, and what a story. But no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work with Rhea the way that she is right now. This Rhea character is not great. I hope that when the draft comes, she gets moved to SmackDown, and they treat her legitimately better like she was in NXT. I think in order to hype up Becky even more, you need bigger, more established heel in Charlotte to win it again, because everybody rolls their eyes. Everybody will be upset. Everybody will be like, really? Again, Charlotte? Then Becky's music hits, and you're like, oh, here we go. You're not going to do that with Rhea as much as you're going to do that with Charlotte. So that's why I think Charlotte wins.
Yeah. And I see some people, like, the chat has been on point. Michael just said a great thing that I think Derek and a lot of other people who would do the show with me would feel. I don't care about the Charlotte match. It actually makes me want to turn the show off.
Yeah.
Six said that I don't think Charlotte even cares anymore. Ever since she got engaged, she just seems over everything.
I mean, they did over a year ago. Both of them did trademark their names so.
Yeah, her daddy didn't raise no dummy in wrestling. Trust me, he knows what to do. I don't think Charlotte should get the heat, but she doesn't need all the titles, bro. And Malik Murray says he refers to the man in the sky about Becky versus Charlotte again. But Jeff comes in with some logic here. Jeff says the problem is oversaturation with Charlotte. I think that's a WWE problem as well.
Yeah.
She is amazing, but some fans are tired of seeing her in the main event scene constantly. Make her earn it. Put her in the ladder match. I like that. And that's something that, he's coming in with more. I was cool with her winning the Rumble, but make her work her way into the main event scene. I agree. There's no struggle for main eventers really in this company. You just go.
Right. Well, I mean, the roster depth on the main rosters has been a huge problem too, let alone the booking. But I think in this case you do it because you get that bigger match at SummerSlam. And then like we've done this time and time again. We do this time and time again. Maybe that's the story they go with. We're facing off again, but I want it to be, I don't want to keep facing off with you. So if I win if Becky wins the belt, Charlotte can't face her.
Yeah.
Then you have to give Charlotte different stories because she can't come after the champion.
And I'm going to end this on this when it comes to the whole situation, especially when you look at what happened with Rhea. Rhea has been mishandled since Mania, and NXT's not off the hook for this either. NXT was someone I always trusted until this started happening. You ruined Rhea Ripley with that loss, and she never really got to make up for it. And is part of it to blame on the pandemic? I think so. But, but I just, the frustration is there because she was over. Here's the weird thing. So everybody knows Derek. I keep bringing him up because he's like the perfect casual fan. Derek was so into Rhea Ripley at that point. He was behind her. He loved her. Same thing with Bray Wyatt. Derek gets into these characters, and then Vince does the, are those your legs? Cut underneath you, and that it ruins the character for someone like that. And that is what is wild to me when it comes to this.
I think we're going to be hearing a lot of those same kind of remarks through the next couple of these matches, too, because, it truly is. It's baffling. I don't know if because of the pandemic and lack of crowd that it has warped the opinion and how stories go. I mean, I'm sure it is a little bit, but, it's always been, Vince's show. But, here in these last, 2 years, it's It's wild.
Yes, it's 6 perfect casual fan laughing. Derek's probably in Ohio listening to this somewhere, or he will be later, so that's fine. BJ, I'm gonna let you pick, man. Do you want to talk the title matches first or the Money in the Bank matches? I feel like the title matches are gonna end the show.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go Money in the Banks, because I think I have something. I think I have a domino effect from one of them. So
okay, let's start with the women's. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Right now we have Alexa Bliss. I have not been feeling the character. I'm sorry, Alexa Bliss stands and haters. Nothing personal against her. I just don't like how she overtook Bray's character, and Bray never got any revenge. But maybe that'll change. Maybe it'll come back and everything will be better. Let's trust the writing team in the process with all of this. We've got Naomi in this. Shout out to Naomi. I'm usually one to criticize Naomi sometimes. I have in the past on in-ring work, but I do think it was wrong what a lot of the fans were attacking her for with her husband and the whole situation with the drinking and everything. So I completely feel for Naomi. Asuka is also in this. Asuka has been handled miserably. She needs a show shake-up better than anybody. Like immediately, please shake it up. We've got the returning Selena Vega. I can't wait to hear thoughts on that from you, PJ. Nikki Ash, Liv Morgan. I don't even know how Natalya got in this, and apparently, they put what's her name in this? Your girl. Tamina. I did not know she was even in this. So
I think they just added her like yesterday.
Okay.
So
who you got, BJ?
So there's a lot to this. Like, if you just from looking at this graphic, like character-wise, you definitely got character. Like WWE's, trying to do the character thing. They've got that. But utilizing that character is what they're not doing well. So in this match, I see that there's a few people. Well, I think 2 people aren't going to be in this match that are advertised for this match.
Tag champs?
Because of the storylines that we're seeing on SmackDown. And when you talk about like people coming up from NXT and things not going well for them, I don't want to say it's written in the stars, but when you start changing people's names, rarely does it end up changing them for the better. And so I think somehow on SmackDown tonight, we get some kind of match again with Shotzi, not Shotzi Blackheart, and Nox, not Tegan Nox. And they take Natalya and Tamina's place.
You bring up a good point. WWE does like to do that shake-up bullshit, kind of like Survivor Series. The Survivor Series team is never the Survivor Series team until it is that night. Yeah. Because they always do something different. And I think they will do that tonight with the fans too. Like, haha, you thought these 2 were in? We're changing things up, pal.
Yeah. And it's going to be, crowds are here, so we're going to give them something exciting, and we're going to give them 2 new people. Now, I tell you on one good thing and one bad thing with that, it scares me. Everything that happens with Tegan Nox scares me because I like Tegan, but I worry about her legs. So putting her in a ladder match worries me a lot.
I really
I think we got a good thing because of a spot will happen with her.
I was going to say with Tegan, I really think that Triple H feels for her because of the injury, because Triple H has had 2 and now she's had 3.
Yeah.
I think if she gets hit with 1 more, it's either you better find something else to do in the company or it's going to be cut time, unfortunately.
Yep. I think so too.
It's almost as if WWE wants to force feed the marketable stars instead of pushing new stars and developing deeper stories. They definitely need to do that, Jeff.
Yeah, but they are doing just the marketable thing right now. They're, especially with fans coming back, they think it's all the marquee right now. Even though they're making great profits, it's all the marquee and new people. We're not worried about the people who have been here.
Man, I think Naomi's going to win Money in the Bank and cash in on Bianca and join Roman Reigns' group. That would be interesting.
Ooh, that would be a big wrinkle into that story.
Yeah, even though I feel a kind of way about that story too, and it's not Roman's fault. and it's really not both the Usos' fault. It's one of them with how they're doing.
Yeah.
But that's for another subject, I guess.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Liv seems to be the favorite. Some people say Bliss. Liv or Bliss seem like the top two because of the stories that they're involved in right now.
I think it's going to be Liv, but I think we do get the surprise in those change of Natalya and Tamina.
I feel like you give it to Liv and you can do something maybe with Sonya Deville. I feel like she's getting ready to come back too. So I'm going to take Liv for the win. Is that who you're going with as well?
That's who I'm going for as well.
Okay. Yeah, man, it feels weird. Some people were predicting maybe Becky finds her way in, and maybe that's how she gets the belt back. Like, it was ironic that last year she said the title was in the briefcase, so you're the champion, and then this year she wins the briefcase, and then she's like, now I'm going to beat you for that championship that way and win it that way. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some poetry behind it. Let's get into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. This one is interesting. This is star-studded a little bit, in my opinion. We've got Rick O'Shea from Ireland. We also have Matt Riddle, the king of the bros. Drew McIntyre, even though if he wins, he can't cash in on Bobby Lashley. Weird. Kevin Owens. We've got Big E as well. Shinsuke Nakamura. And Seth Rollins is in here as well. Lots and lots to look at and discuss when it comes to this.
So... in this one, it's a little weird because even when I made a note, I was thinking about something and I forgot about someone, but it's because right now they're forgettable, and that's sad. And that's Ricochet.
Yeah, Rick O'Shea.
Yeah. In this match, other than Morrison and Ricochet consistently like facing each other to find whichever way they can not get a normal finish in a match each week on Raw, they're kind of in a feud. I think it's just because, hey, we're guys who can do
Flips.
Parkour.
Yeah. Prince Puma and Johnny Mundo.
Yeah.
Lucha Underground.
Yeah, so we'll get that. That match sounds a lot better than just those two on a Monday. But anyways, we'll get those kinds of like segments, moments, whatever from them in that match. I don't think they have a chance in winning it. The other people, every other person has a feud, has someone. And I think that we get a lot of shenanigans and crazy interactions and interferences. There's one person that doesn't seem to have much of a continuing story right now, and that's Big E. And so I think all the excess outside stuff costs everyone else in that match except Big E. And so I think Big E wins Money in the Bank.
I'm going to agree with you on Big E is my prediction as well, but I'm going to pull this back up. I really don't think Kevin Owens has anything to do at the moment. Drew is interesting because I saw some people putting Drew's name down in the comment section. What interests me about Drew is he can't challenge Lashley. Imagine being stuck on a brand and you have such a hatred for someone, but you can't cash in on them. It makes it very interesting. Like, he could be down and out after a match, and Drew's looking at him. He's like, "What you gonna do, Drew?" MVP could just be out there taunting him. You can't cash in, Drew. You remember the contract? You can't cash in on him. You could play around with that stuff, but do you want to go back to that feud? My answer to that is 100% confirmed. Hell no. So
no. I think that voids the money. I understand their stipulation, but I think it voids the whole purpose of the Money in the Bank. Anytime, anywhere. I get the interesting wrinkle, but not between these two. I'm done with this for now.
Ricochet is stuck with Mundo, like you said.
Yeah.
Riddle is doing the bro thing, and I think they're destined, him and Randy, to face AJ and Omas at SummerSlam. And then we see, is this partnership real? Is it going to continue, or does he RKO him finally? Or does Riddle turn on Randy, which I think is another possibility of happening?
Yeah.
So you've got things to mess with here. Nakamura, he's got the crown right now. I don't think he needs it. Nakamura is being built up. Like, I feel better about him than I did a year ago, but
yeah,
it ain't time. But there's two people who I haven't mentioned yet, and those are the two who I think could win this. Big E is my pick, But Seth Rollins, you could do something interesting with him. What do you mean? And I think it's going to play into the main event, and I will stay quiet from there.
Yeah, I've got a little bit. I've got a little bit there too on that. There was something that you had said. Kevin Owens not having anybody. I don't know what they're doing with Kevin Owens right now. How do you have a man like Kevin Owens and not have him? Like, maybe it's all because of this brand draft, because I don't want to see Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns again. We did that just earlier on this year. So I guess I get it in some regards, but like there's like such a gap right now between the Intercontinental and the main event that it's like, what do you do with Kevin?
He's in the Oscar position right now. He needs a split. He needs something new. When they get to something new and fresh, Jeff thinks this fuels a move for Drew. Six says, I don't mind seeing a Lashley Big E match, and I think that's where you're going to go. I think they want it. But if it's not Big E who beats Roman, who is it?
Well, we could get to that in a minute. I'm gonna tell you the Drew thing where they said about Drew going to SmackDown.
The Goldberg stuff. I can't.
I don't want that. I don't want that. Oh, no, I don't want that. Here's what I'll tell you about Drew. This is another reason I don't want Drew to win it, because people would think, oh, then Drew will go to SmackDown. And Drew will lose. Because at Survivor Series, I believe it was Survivor Series, when we had Roman versus Drew, Roman told Drew he was holding the secondary belt, that he was on the secondary show, that he was their secondary choice, and then he beat him, and you're like, oh, maybe that is for Drew, and then they just lowered Drew from even more. So how could I take Drew coming back and saying, well, now I'm going to do it? No. When you had all the fuel behind you, that's when I believed in you. Now I have no faith in you beating Roman, so I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll have to wait and see what happens with this. Very interesting. I love the takes in the chat right now. I love some people comparing it to Cody not being able to go. Good stuff there, Malik.
That's true.
Rockstar is bringing up some stuff that I'm going to probably talk about. I'll talk about that in a second, Rockstar. It'll be John Cena beating Roman. Hell no to the no. He's going to be making those movies like he made fun of The Rock for. Hypocrite. Drew can't challenge as long as Bobby is champ. That is correct, Azan.
Are you talking about Jacob Toretto?
Family. I'm sorry, Roman, but I can't take that blue title seriously. Jinder's going to cost Drew. He's going to come out with the sword and chop down the ladder.
I believe it at this point.
Jeff comes in. Kevin and Oscar are too damn good. That's the problem. They're not Roman or Charlotte, but are deserving of the titles. Comes back to a marketing thing. WWE can't be bothered to think differently. This is true. Yeah. And I'm seeing Lashley Goldberg. I have to move on because I cannot talk about Goldberg is not ruining another show for me. Let's talk about my man, Kofi Kingston, Bobby Lashley. History being made here. For the first time ever, we have two Black people going for the main event WWE Championship in a pay-per-view matchup. I cannot think of another time this has happened on pay-per-view. If I am wrong, someone please correct me, because I don't think Booker T and Rock ever got to be in one of the main event matches for the WWE Championship. This is something amazing to me. I love Kofi Kingston, and I love the New Day actually as a whole. And I think Lashley has done a great job as champion. I knew when he was the U.S. champ, they were not letting this man lose clean for a reason. Yeah. So this has been tremendously built up. Some people are calling for Xavier Woods to turn on Kofi. I hope that's not the case. I feel like this could be a great Apollo Creed moment where he's in there and he is getting crushed. He is getting a beatdown that no one would ever expect. That's kind of my 2 cents on it. He's getting the beatdown, and Rocky has to watch it. Maybe Rocky's Big E. He's got to watch this beatdown occur to his friend.
Sorry, I heard a weird noise.
No, you're fine, BJ. What do you think of that?
So, yeah, I don't ever want to see the New Day split up. Ever. I don't ever want to see a heel turn. I love their podcast. Like, I am all about the New Day. So when they even like split them up in the draft, I was like, don't you do it. Don't you do it. And like the sadness on their face and everything. So no, I don't think that happens. I do think the Apollo Creed thing, that Bobby is just gonna, wreck. I just saw that throws in the towel comment. I think he's just gonna wreck Kofi and takes Kofi down. But this plays into my thing from earlier. No one said that you had to stay on your brand
with the briefcase, right?
Yeah, I think Big E comes to the save of Kofi Kingston after post match. Bobby wins and retains. Big E comes down with that Money in the Bank, and I don't know if he cashes in then. But I think Big E, if he wins it, he cashes in on Bobby Lashley either at Money in the Bank post-match or that Monday on Raw, because he's a face, so he does it respectable. He sets up that match or whatever. But I think Big E does it. I think all the quote-unquote spoilers has been all the rumors and innuendo of someone coming back, and now it's not Brock Lesnar, and now we're hearing it's Goldberg. I don't think we're getting Lashley and Goldberg. No one wants that. They want Lashley and Brock. I think we get Big E's dream match. If you've ever seen the clip off the New Day podcast where he said his dream opponent is Goldberg, two big men bumping meat, as he put it. So.
Yeah, I guess that's your thing.
Two big men slamming meat at SummerSlam, Big E and Goldberg. That's what I think is going to happen for the WWE title.
Interesting. And Jeff said, and I love the New Day, but this is WWE after all. I hope not. I think that Kofi Kingston should bring his old theme back. Yes, that Kali Bud's SOS. That was my jam. If he chases in on or cashes in, I think that's supposed to be on Lashley. That could cause a problem between Big E and Kofi. I don't think so. I think the New Day is so united. Like I said, Kofi's going to get the beatdown of his life, I think, in this. Like, Lashley's going to cheat, put him in that hurt lock, and then right when he thinks it's going down, Woods may try to get in, and then he's going to be like, I beat Woods down too. They're both down. And Lashley's standing there with his feet on one of their chests, or they're stacked up. Then all of a sudden you hear Big E's music hit. And I think when I would do it, you hit the New Day theme for Big E. Don't hit the solo theme. Hit the New Day theme for him, and he comes out, and I think you could do some really good stuff. Conrad, you got dialed up or something? No. Big E needs the theme back. I need 5. Yeah, I love that theme as well. Really good stuff here. I like the thinking. This is going to be interesting, man. Going to be interesting. It's time to talk about the last match, though, BJ. We're coming to a close. We've got the match that was supposed to be the WrestleMania main event. We've got Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman in his corner against Edge. This one's got a lot of layers, BJ. I'm going to let you go through this one first, man.
So, yeah, it's got a lot of layers, and it's got a lot of interesting takes just on my feelings alone, because Edge is my guy. And I mean that in the sense of, like, when you list like favorite wrestlers and your tops of all time, he's always been up there, if not number one. And I always, if I put someone in there above him, they're always temporary. What I'm honestly thinking all time anymore, especially in the last 5 years, it's Edge. He's done everything. He's had the most interesting stories to me. He has been my favorite. I have desperately wanted them to bring the execution submissioner back because that was sick. And he talked about on his podcast a few years ago. I love Edge. I lost my voice when he returned at the Rumble. Got a tear in my eye, everything. But he's not doing it. I don't think he's beating Roman Reigns. I had to say all of that because That's how I feel about Edge, but Edge is not the guy. He got stacked with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
Damn.
In my opinion, it's Roman Reigns. It's Roman Reigns all day. It's Roman Reigns forever. Rename the title to the Roman Reigns Championship. He's the head of the table. Let The Rock come in to face him like everyone's planning. Have him beat The Rock. I don't want any surprise cash-ins on Roman. I don't want any shock roll-ups on Roman. I want an established star to beat Roman, and I don't think they have anybody. I think you have to have time to build it. I'd say give it 2 years. Let Roman Reigns be the champ that long and build someone credible up, because I don't want a part-timer coming in and they're just as good as... No, I want The Rock to come in, and I want him to lose.
They only did this to make Punk fans mad. I swear.
No.
I can hear it. No. Roman's crushing it. Sick has the best comment right now that I've seen so far. Roman wins. No point in even entertaining this. # protect Roman.
That's why I said Roman all day, Roman forever. Like,
BJ, indulge me here for a second. Azan has said one of my theories. Seth, I think, is going to be pissed that he loses. He's going to be the guy who Big E pushes off the ladder, I think, for the last chance to win. Seth thinks that this is going to be his big moment. He's going to get that match with Roman Reigns, and he's going to finally get his opportunity back, and he loses. And I think maybe when he's going to the back, he bumps into an Edge who's getting ready for his match, and he just sees him, and he's getting mad. And we're going to get a replay of that classic. If you remember when John Cena allowed the Authority to come back, it was because Seth threatened to curb stomp Edge onto that briefcase.
That was such a weird moment, because where I said Edge has been my guy, at that point in time, I was Rollins all day. So when I was like, no, I don't want you to do it, but like, I do want you to do it. Like,
right. That would be amazing. Jeff's asking the question, could Brock show up at the end? I do think Rollins is going to either take out Edge, or he's going to cost Edge, or he's going to attack him afterwards. Edge and Rollins is the big feud for SummerSlam, in my opinion. That is going to be your SummerSlam match. And then I feel like Seth will eventually turn babyface and challenge Reigns.
I think Brock is not showing up. I want
to see Ponytail Brock get in there with the long hair.
Think with the news of Goldberg, unless it's like Slammiversary and it's a red herring, I think Brock's not coming back right now. I think that's why they made a deal with Goldberg, is because Brock was like, no, Goldberg's their number 2. What I do think, though, is that Jacob Toretto, aka John Cena, shows up at some point. I don't know if we get it at Money in the Bank because it's just this week, but I think Roman and Cena happen at SummerSlam.
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
And as I said at the beginning of my prediction for this match, Roman Reigns all day, every day, Roman forever, including John Cena. That includes everybody that is not someone new.
Noob, yes, I love that moment with Rollins and Edge. I thought that was a great way to get the Authority brought back, because it felt real. Like, yo, if you do this to this guy, you may actually hurt him. What are you doing, Rollins? And that was a believable way to get it brought back. To the man, to the sky, and Goldberg again. Yes. It's going to be interesting. We got Reigns winning. We got a lot of surprises in store. You guys are going to have to come back, though, and find out after the pay-per-views for Slammiversary and Money in the Bank. You guys can come back. We'll talk about all of these things, run down everything that we've got going on. BJ, thank you for coming on and doing this amazing show. It was fun. It was fun talking pro wrestling with you, man. I always enjoy it. I feel like we may have to get you on more often than what we have to talk some wrestling.
Man, I'm always up for it. It's been a big while since I've done some shows, and I've been itching to get back to stuff in general. So, you just let me know and we'll make it happen because I enjoyed it too. I always enjoy being on here with you.
All right, look, we got one question. We'll let Sick be the last question. I have a question for you both. We all know Malachi Black was a huge acquisition for AEW, but Tony Khan says he has something bigger than that. Who or what do you think he's referring to? I have not heard this yet. I always look for those interviews so I can hear them because Tony Khan, listen, you do not want to turn into Dixie Carter where you hype stuff and then it's like, who's it going to be? It's Rampage Jackson or Tito Ortiz. And we're like, dude, what? That was what you were hyping up?
Yeah. So if we play off the word of huge,
could it?
I already see your. Yeah, I was gonna say if we play off the word of huge, it's Braun Strowman, but that's more of a huge in size, not necessarily huge in. Oh man! Now what you just did, the whole yes thing, the Daniel Bryan thing. It's very interesting what is happening because there has been so little talk on Daniel Bryan between, company-wise, like they mentioned him in promos, but it's because he was involved in a main event match at WrestleMania, but that's pretty much it. It's just a noting point. But like, I saw a video clip someone shared on Reddit just like earlier this week of Daniel Bryan at a 2K event basically predicting AEW. It was in like 2018 where he talked about all these guys and stuff. That schedule would be nicer for him, which means longevity in his career. He'd have more time to be at home and be a dad, which, is also a priority of his. It allows him to be fully like more creative. And I'm sure at this point in his career, he could help more.
I think he wants to be the traveling wrestling man. He wants to go where he wants, and he wants to pick his opponents.
And Tony would let him. Vince is not going to let him go to New Japan and go here and go there and go everywhere. If Tony signs him, Tony says, all right, yeah, go to Japan. Oh, yeah, show up in Impact. Oh, yeah, show up in ROH if you want.
Well, think about this, though, from Vince's standpoint, too. He let Jericho do it, and look what happened. Do-do, from right under his nose. Like, you let it happen.
That's fair. But the thing is he didn't let Jericho do that in the sense that Jericho wasn't allowed. Jericho wasn't under contract. Jericho went to him and asked for permission out of respect. If there's no contract, there's no binding. He could have done it either way. I just saw that comment.
Brian, it's Vince. Call me.
Yeah.
Rob said Brian ain't going anywhere.
See, that's what I've been thinking. Like, even when he left, I was like, oh, he's just taking a break for a while. But the longer he's been gone and the less you hear, the more speculation there begins to, and chatter comes up, the more you start to believe that maybe he is. Because you could argue for WWE's sake that they're saving Daniel Bryan as a big surprise return. But where are you putting him right now? He doesn't fit in the WWE title picture. He doesn't fit in the Universal title picture. And you're not putting him in the mid card.
I think maybe you could put him in like an ambassador role and have him go out, and maybe you say, look, you got to bring talent back too. Then you got to bring us some new people that will actually do something. Maybe you do something like that. But I think another thing that I heard, and I can't remember, it was another wrestler commenting. What's going on, Chad? Thank you for joining us here at the end. We're just wrapping up things right now. We're going to probably be done here in the next couple minutes. But CM Punk's another interesting name that I think is out there. Someone had mentioned CM Punk is almost out of ammo, they kind of said. The more he waits, the less and less like hype there is. And he's trying to make it a surprise, but eventually it expires. It's like bad meat kind of. The expiration date is gone. It's old news. We don't care now. Has Punk been waiting for the right moment so that people forget? You never know. I'm putting it out. I'm over it. Like, I'm not going to say that stuff and get hyped for it anymore. When I hear the music and I see him out there, then that's when you'll see me lose my shit. I lost my shit
And if we get Bryan Danielson, my bad, we're getting Final Countdown. Tony's throwing that money. But with CM Punk, especially after seeing the activity on Twitter with him, I really want to see something happen between CM Punk and Danhausen. Like, even if it's just something small. I don't know if you saw the Twitter thing with Frank the Clown.
No, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, Frank the Clown was asking Punk to come back because it had been like a certain like year mark of something or whatever, and Danhausen chimed in something for him, and they're like, "Oh, well, you could come and do this and make this money, or you could just make $100 and be with like Danhausen or whatever." And Punk sends back a shirt, or sends back a picture of him wearing a Danhausen shirt, and it's like, it's like, yes, I want Punk and Danhausen interaction somewhere.
Yeah, they could do it.
As Danhausen calls him, the Pepsi Man.
Let's make it happen, man. Let's make wrestling fun. I hope these guys can get into it. Like, as a fan, I'm enjoying this. And I hope wrestlers don't take anything that we say on this show with like disrespect. And please, anything you target, it's at Derek. I will give you his email address. Just hit me up in the DMs. I got you.
See, you're adding your own layers there.
Yeah, absolutely. Blame Derek is the #1 motto in this podcast. That's true leadership in the everything pro wrestling world. But BJ, thank you so much for doing this, guys. Tonight, Money in the Bank 2011 review. I want to hear your thoughts. Come on in, check out me and Casey talking about it. Lots of little interesting points of even today getting brought up into it, and I think you guys will enjoy that review tonight. And also, I will be back tomorrow, Slammiversary review Sunday with the Money in the Bank review. You guys were fabulous. The chat was great. BJ, tell people where they can find you and sign us off, brother.
So you can find me at my tag right over here. Sorry, I'm mirrored on social media. Run the Ropes on Facebook primarily right now. I'm kind of working on a little bit of things. I'm kind of in like 4 different places, so I'm kind of like working on a central hub where I can start directing people to. But right now, just look for that tag or Run the Ropes, and that's where you'll find us. Come chat with us, talk wrestling and stuff there, just like you do over here. We'll appreciate you. And thank you for having me on. Anytime you want, I'm always on here. And if you want me to sign you off, I'll sign you off the way that you guys always do. Thank you guys for joining. Peace.